Hello, everyone. I'm Melissa Pache, CEO at the Whistler Chamber of Commerce. I would like to acknowledge that we are having this virtual meeting on the shared and ceded traditional territories of the Squamish and Lillooet Nations. We honor their language, culture, land, and traditions. Back in 2014, the Whistler Chamber partnered with the University of Victoria's Gustavson School of Business to create what we now know as the Whistler Experience. Developed by the very own Dr. Mark Colgate, an award-winning professor of service excellence, the Whistler Experience approach focuses on Whistler's service values, the 3 R's: be reliable, be responsive, and build relationships. And I better not have to read that, right, Mark? Since its inception, the Whistler Experience has been a community unified effort to help Whistler create outstanding service experience. The award-winning service leadership program teaches teams and individuals how to plan and deliver world-class service by building powerful experiences for employees and customers. So together since 2014, we have trained over 22,000 people in Whistler from all over the world. So today we're honored to have with us our very special guest all the way from Victoria and the Gustavson School of Business, Dr. Mark Colgate. 22,000 people, you must be exhausted.
Totally, yeah, and I'm sure every single one of them remembers every single minute as well. Melissa, if it's okay, I would like to also acknowledge, with respect, the Algonquin people on whose traditional territory the University of Victoria stands, and the Songhees, the Esquimalt, and the Wassanak people whose historical relationship with the land continues to this day as well.
Well, thank you for that. And welcome. We haven't seen you in so long. It's great to have you back. I know you've been working behind the scenes with us, so really excited to dive in a little bit.
Totally.
Now, normally you would have come here. We would have had all these incredible in-person meetings and programs and courses. I remember back in 2014, we had like 400 people in a room. That's not happening anymore. But before we jump in, you bring your family here in the winter. I know you're a big skier. What's your favorite ski run?
Seventh Heaven for sure. Definitely my favorite. You know, the views are incredible. And also now I've transitioned to coming most of the year. So I love coming in the summer as well, but obviously skiing.
And your favorite pastime in the summer, aside from sitting on a patio, sipping a beverage of some sort?
Oh, actually, you know what? Sitting, doing a bit of biking around Lost Lake. And then ending up at the Table 19 patio at the Japanese golf course with a view over Green Lake. I do that every year. That's pretty phenomenal.
So that was my other question, was your favorite après activity, but it sounds like we've already got that one.
Yeah, we do that one in the winter as well. We just cycle.
I'm sure you do. So let's jump in then. The 3 R's are the foundation of the Whistler Experience. Can you explain to us the importance of the 3 R's? And how do they relate to COVID-19?
So I think there's a number of things. First of all, every organization, whether you're a government organization, non-profit, for-profit organization, you need a customer service framework. If you have a customer service framework, a number of things happen. Number one, you pay more attention to it because you're talking about customer service. You're reflecting on how well you're doing within the bounds of that customer service framework. Right. If you don't have a customer service framework, you don't really have anything to talk about. There's no content, right? So I think, first of all, we're starting to play the attention game. And when it comes to delivering a great customer experience, it's all about the attention we give customer service and the attention we give each and every customer. I think secondly, consistency. You know, when you have a framework like the 3 R's, then it builds consistency in terms of language, consistency in terms of how we treat each other, our colleagues are our customers, and consistency in terms of how we treat our customers as well. And then we can use language like taking ownership and following up, which is the foundation of the Whistler Experience, right, which again becomes something we can continually discuss as a group as well. And then finally, I think in terms of COVID, Bonnie Henry has become super famous with her phrase, be calm, be kind, and be safe. And I think they relate so much to the 3 R's. Safety is reliability. Providing the right protocols, keeping your customers and employees safe, and also the customer confidence that you have the right protocols and safety measures in place. Be calm.
It's interesting to put it that way, because a lot of us are learning what COVID is all about. And when you actually take the 3 R's that have been the foundation for so long, and then be able to mirror it with what's actually happening today, it's an interesting thing to look at that way.
Right, and I think that kind of reminds us that the 3 R's make sense as well, right? That they're just, they're not something we came up sitting in at the Longhorn over a pint of beer, right? These are based on science. These are based on quality in the eyes of the customer. And so I think when Bonnie Henry came up with her phrase, it shows you that they have so much validity in terms of, this is how people think as
very
well.
Much. Right? No, very much.
And then I think the calmness piece, Melissa, the calmness piece is our ability to communicate with our customers about what they can and can't do, and what we can do for them or what we can't do. The limitations that we're faced with, and the more information you give your customers, the more certainty there is and the less anxiety. And then of course the kindness piece is that relationship piece. People do get stressed. People get stressed in this environment.
And they need the support now, even more than ever. They need the training and the support, so that there's, work that they can look at. Not work, we won't call it work, we'll call it education. And it's really enforces that ability to manage a guest experience really, really well, which of course is so important to us here in our community. So one of the questions too is, we're not exactly new to the idea of being short on labor, except for COVID-19 really impacted us even more so.
Yeah.
And so as a professor, why is training so timely despite the challenges our businesses are facing through this pandemic?
So I think, the crucial thing, if we're going to get, down to basics, you can do more with less when you put some effort in at the beginning, when you train people at the beginning, orientate them in the right way, make sure all of your employees are on the same page. You can do more with less. And that's absolutely what we need to do when we have a labor shortage. If your employees are on the same page, they're aligned, they're helping each other, you're providing feedback to your employees as to how they can, even more effectively execute the 3 R's, for example, then they're going to continually grow in their skills, right? And so when you hire an employee, of course, they can do a great job for you. But if you put effort into training, the attention you give that employee, you give them feedback so they can grow, then they become more and more productive. And so we're really in the productivity game. How can we build productivity?
Right, and the question always comes up to us is a lot of we have sectors everywhere. We have construction and trades, we have health and wellness sector, business sectors, and tourism and hospitality. Is this program for everybody?
Absolutely. It's so, at the very basic level, this is about engaging your employees. Okay, so when your employees come to work and you give them some attention in terms of a world-class training program, you give them feedback as to how well they're executing the program that you've asked them to live out every single day. They get out of bed a little bit quicker every morning, right? Because you're giving them attention. You're building that relationship between you and them. If employees just turn up and they're not given any feedback, they're not giving any direction, they're not being given the ability to be more autonomous and more empowered, then of course, they'll never bring their best to work every single day.
No, I agree. That's great. So with many businesses grappling with the real economic hardship, can you share how our partnership has decreased the cost of businesses to participate in the Whistler experience? And then share your perspective on why the return on this training is so smart, which you've just sort of explained. That part of it was why invest now. So the other part is we work together to find a way to pivot and find a way to make this affordable, and also how we're delivering it. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, like everything, over the last few years, we've had to transition, right? So we used to do face-to-face training in Whistler, and then we transitioned to face-to-face and online. And now, of course, we don't have a choice but to go online. And so to reflect that and to reflect the position that every business in Whistler is in, we've reduced the cost. And so I hope it's more affordable for everyone to do this program. And again, what the value for money for every business, apart from obviously getting access to the Spirit Pass, is the fact that you now have a consistent framework that you can use across the organization. And that is gold. Because as I said, it means you simply pay more attention to the customer experience than if you didn't have a framework. And also it provides that consistency and your ability to have a similar language and a similar approach for every employee, whether you have 4 employees or 40 employees or 400. It's invaluable to be able to be aligned, collaborate, and on the same page.
Yeah, it takes a village. And I think if the village is all on the same page with the same values, it's a really important piece. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think we're all pretty much focused on ourselves and our own business surviving in this environment, and that's how it will always be. But you think of, you know, how rising tides lift all boats. You know, if every business adopts a similar approach, when a person comes to Whistler, they interact with probably 20, 30 businesses, right? Well, if you build that consistency across the village as well, then people come back and they say, wow, you know, Whistler know exactly what they're doing, right? It really is a world-class resort, not just in terms of the facilities, but also in the experience that they deliver. And that's pretty hard to replicate across the world. I bet you there's not many other places around the world that are doing that Whistler are trying to do. And I think that's pretty important.
And I've talked to many chambers across the world about our program, and they're still trying to figure out how to put something similar together. So before we end though, is there anything that you'd like to add or share with our members or the business community as a whole?
Yes, definitely. My last message is, you know, there's always disruptions. Okay, so at the moment we have COVID-19, it's a disruption. We had the global financial crisis 10 years ago. You know, we had World War I, we had the Spanish flu, we had World War II, we had the Great Depression. There is always going to be disruptions. There are always going to be time. Even some years, Whistler's had terrible ski seasons, right? And you have to cope with that. There are always disruptions. The question is, how do you manage your business through this disruption? And research shows that some businesses who are successful before COVID-19 will come out unsuccessful. And some businesses that aren't very successful will come out further ahead because they've managed themselves through this crisis. And so that's what I would say, you know, stay calm, think about how you can come out ahead of this crisis, because it will end. It might end next winter, it may be the season after, but it will end. And the question is, what can we do now so we're even further ahead than we are before we came to the crisis?
Great words of wisdom from Dr. Mark Colgate, all the way from Victoria. I can't tell you how much we appreciate our partnership with you. It has been, you know, challenging for everyone, but when we called and we talked to you about helping the community out, you made everything you could do to make this happen. So I can't thank you enough on behalf of the Chamber, myself, the team, our members, and our board. Thank you so much for everything that you've done and you continue to do for our community. So we'll definitely have
I was in Whistler this summer, you know, when you had your COVID-19 protocols, and it was a phenomenal experience. So I think, you know, you're doing a really fantastic job in Whistler and balancing that safety, but still giving a great customer experience. And
so it's been a tough go, but yeah, the businesses have done well with it so far. So it's great. So in closing, the Whistler Experience is of course open to everyone. If you are a member of the Whistler Chamber or you work for a business who is with the Chamber of Commerce, Whistler Chamber of Commerce, by taking one of the Whistler Experience courses, you automatically become eligible for the 2021 Spirit Pass, which Mark has mentioned. The Spirit Pass has been a business benefit for our members for well over 30 years, so something that is extremely unique to our community. The Whistler Experience is made possible with fee-for-service funding from the Resort Municipality of Whistler. We would also like to thank our resort partners, Whistler Blackcomb and Tourism Whistler, for your continued support. If you would like to know more about how the Whistler Experience can support your business or learn more about the Spirit Pass, please contact one of our team members at the Whistler Chamber by calling 604-932-5922 or visit whistlerchamber.com. Mark, thank you for taking the time with us today. A huge thank you to the University of Victoria's team for investing and believing in our community. and the ability to recognize globally that service excellence, even with COVID-19. So,
and I brought my ski
we'll see you
passes this winter, so I'll see you this winter for sure.
I will see you online.
Yeah, and online, definitely. Online and offline.
Online on the online tutorials. Take care, Mark.
Thank you, Melissa.
Bye.